If you have spent more than 5 minutes in Ho Chi Minh City, you know the rhythm of the streets. It is an absolute sea of motorbikes, a constant, mesmerizing hum of engines, and a ballet of chaotic traffic that somehow just works.
It really is a ballet. There is an organic flow to it that you have to experience to understand. But today, the soundtrack of the city is shifting. We are looking at a massive game changer for Saigon, something that is literally rewriting the map. We are talking about the Ho Chi Minh City Metro Line 1.
Exactly. Imagine going from the absolute sensory overload of District 1, 𝗛𝗢𝗡𝗘𝗬𝗖𝗢𝗠𝗕, all the way to the tech hubs of 𝗛𝗢𝗡𝗘𝗬𝗖 in 20 minutes. No traffic jams. No wrestling with a plastic rain poncho in a sudden torrential downpour while your shoes fill with water. Just smooth, ice-cold air conditioning. It sounds like science fiction for anyone who has lived here a while, but it is finally reality.
It is a profound shift. When a city built entirely around the individual freedom and individual chaos of the motorbike suddenly introduces a mass transit artery, it changes more than just daily commutes. It alters the psychology of the city itself. People are going to experience Saigon from a completely different vantage point. You are no longer just surviving the streets. You are observing the city.
Let us trace that new artery. The line runs nearly 20 kilometers from Binh Thanh to Suoi Tien. For the expat community, tourists and locals alike, this route hits some incredibly strategic points. It feels like someone finally connected the most vital organs of the city.
Right. Starting with Binh Thanh Station. That is essentially the new Grand Central of Saigon. You step out of that station and you are immediately swallowed by the energy of the backpacker district and the historic local markets. It is the beating heart of the old city. But then, just a stop or two away, the vibe completely transforms.
You hit the Opera House station, which is all high-end shopping, luxury hotels and French colonial architecture. And then Ba Son Station, right by the river. Ba Son is perfect for everyone living in those massive new residential complexes or visiting the waterfront parks. It is reshaping real estate too.
Absolutely. Access to a metro station instantly changes property values and neighborhood dynamics. But beyond real estate, there is the holy grail for the expat community, Thao Dien Station. Anyone who has ever tried to cross the Hanoi Highway at rush hour knows the unique kind of existential dread that brings. The endless sea of trucks, the exhaust fumes, the waiting. The metro completely bypasses that. You are gliding over the gridlock. It is not just about saving time, it is about saving your sanity.
Gliding over the gridlock is the perfect way to phrase it, because the first few stations are underground, but then the train emerges. It becomes an elevated track, offering this incredible sky tour of the city. You get to see the skyline evolve in real time as you move from the historic centre out to the rapid development of 𝗛𝗢𝗡𝗘𝗬𝗖𝗎. You see the contrast between the old tin roofs and the gleaming glass skyscrapers.
That transition from subterranean darkness to sweeping city views is almost cinematic. It gives you a sense of the scale of Ho Chi Minh City that you simply cannot get from street level. But let us get down to the practicalities, because a transit system like this is only as good as its accessibility. How seamless is the actual experience for someone stepping onto the platform for the first time?
Surprisingly seamless and incredibly affordable. We are talking about trips that cost between 50 cents and $1. You have single ride tokens, which are fantastic for tourists dropping in for a few days. But for residents, the rechargeable smart cards are the absolute must-have. And yes, the vending machines have a very intuitive English interface, which is a huge relief for the international community.
The affordability is crucial. Mass transit needs to be democratic. It has to serve the university student as much as the tech executive. But here is where the urban design gets really interesting, and sometimes a bit complicated. It is what urban planners call the last mile problem. The train gets you to Dien. But how do you get from the station to your favorite cafe hidden deep down a winding alleyway?
That is the million-dollar question. The metro does not drop you at your doorstep like a motorbike does. It demands a shift in habit. We are already seeing electric buses stepping up to bridge that gap. Ride-hailing apps are adapting too, and bike-sharing stations are popping up right near the exits. But it still requires a behavioral change from the public.
It forces a new kind of pedestrian culture. Saigon has never been known as a walking city. The intense heat, the sudden rainstorms, the lack of continuous sidewalks, it has always discouraged walking. But the metro necessitates it. You have to walk that last half kilometer. It is going to be fascinating to watch how the microeconomies around these stations evolve over the next few years. You will see new coffee shops, convenience stores, and street food vendors specifically positioning themselves along these new pedestrian desire paths.
Speaking of culture, there is a whole new subway etiquette that the city is learning in real time. It is one thing to know how to ride a motorbike. It is another to navigate the unwritten rules of underground transit. It is a completely different social contract.
Oh, absolutely. The classic stand on the right, walk on the left rule on escalators is slowly taking hold. It is a steep learning curve for a population used to moving fluidly in all directions, finding every available gap in traffic. And of course, there is the golden rule of Southeast Asian public transport: no durians allowed.
The durian ban is strictly non-negotiable. The smell of the king of fruits, trapped in a sealed, air-conditioned tube, is practically a biological weapon.
It really is. You would clear out a train car in seconds. But beyond the humorous rules, there is a beautiful social dynamic emerging. Offering your seat to the elderly or to children is something deeply ingrained in Vietnamese culture, and seeing that translate into the subway environment is heartwarming. It is a shared civic space, which is something Saigon hasn't had in this specific way before. When everyone is on a motorbike, you are isolated in your own helmet, your own bubble. On the train, you are part of a collective.
That collective experience even extends to the language. For anyone navigating this new system, picking up a few local terms makes a huge difference. You will see the word 𝗟𝗢𝗡𝗘𝗬𝗖 everywhere, meaning station, like 𝗛𝗢𝗡𝗘𝗬𝗖.
And Dien for the electric train itself. You scan your your card, and look for the 𝗟𝗢𝗡𝗘𝗬𝗖, the exit. Just those 4 small words unlock the whole system for a newcomer. It makes the massive infrastructure feel a little more approachable.
It is like learning the vocabulary of a brand new era for the city. And the most exciting part is that Line 1 is just the beginning. Lines 2 and 5 are already in the works. Saigon is officially transitioning into a connected, modern megacity.
That transition comes with a heavy question, though. As the city builds upward and digs downward, as it becomes more connected and efficient, does it risk losing some of that raw, chaotic charm that made us fall in love with it in the first place? Will the sterile hum of the electric train eventually drown out the vibrant roar of the motorbikes?
That is the ultimate trade-off of progress, isn't it? We trade a bit of the wild romance for comfort, speed, and clean air. But Saigon has always been a city of layers. The motorbikes aren't disappearing tomorrow. The street food vendors aren't packing up. The metro just adds a new layer, a new rhythm to the existing symphony.
A new vantage point. It gives you the option to dive into the chaos when you want to feel the pulse of the street, or glide above it when you just need to get home in the air conditioning. It is a choice we have never had before. It doesn't erase the old Saigon, it just expands what Saigon can be.
Exactly. So for anyone listening who hasn't taken their first ride yet, it is time to grab a smart card and see the city from a completely different angle. Think about how this steel river is going to reshape the future of Ho Chi Minh City. Until next time, stay cool, keep moving, and enjoy the ride.